Hey everybody, this is Herschel from High School Top 200. We have another installment of the preseason rankings for the top 25, and this one is Otago boys. Um, I know that Otago boys always have a lot of talent. I know that they're always pretty prepared. They also have one of the best coaches in the country, and he's really consistent in the way that he in the way that he wins, in the way that he instructs his team and coaches them, and they basically coach to win, and so that's kind of not really a an option for them to lose. Um, and I like that kind of attitude where you coach to win, you coach to get the best efforts out of everybody, and that everyone plays for each other for all one purpose and where everybody is going. So I like that kind of attitude that they have down there in Otago. Um, the reason why I pushed them back, um, sort of towards number 20 and not towards number 10, is because um, I feel like they've lost um, a lot of key guys and haven't really reloaded in the way that they usually do. They've lost a lot of guys in the forwards, a lot of backs. Haven't really, I felt, haven't really stepped up from last year. There are only a few that did that have come back, and so um, how it translates over to this year, obviously I don't know because I don't predict the futures, but I do. But what I have taken from last year coming into this year, I have ranked them this far back into the top 20. Now, it's not bad. It's not a bad ranking because I know there's a lot of teams who don't ever get ranked wanting to be in this position. But I mean, for Otago boys, they demand more of it. So this year they have Mitchell uh, Mahoney Ray, who was one of the props last year, who's come back. Him and Abraham Pule will probably be the prop and hooker. They have this English kid, Lewis Jones. He seems to be a pretty huge deal for them. Um, they said he's a real big, solid kid who's really fast and fit as well, and they think that he's going to be probably one of the best props in the country, which would be great if he was. It would be great to see him um, come here and if he does dominate, then dominate. But this is where I would like to see him play more high school kids rather than play under 19 fellas, because that doesn't mean anything to us, to be honest. It's like, I don't care if he plays 19-year-olds and then starts dominating those 19-year-olds down there. I'd rather see him come up and play Hastings boys props or King's College props or Hamilton boys props, or guys, schools like that, or like go have a hit out with St. Kitts and Kings or Palmy boys, or Wellington or Silverstream or someone like that. Like, I would rather see them in high school competition. I understand why they don't and why they have played this role of under 19s, the Colts route with Southland boys, but that's just me. We'll probably have to wait till maybe rep times or just see what happens if they make the top four or not. But so they have Mitchell, Abraham, and Lewis Jones, and it's going to be interesting to see how it works out. Tain Tifata is probably going to be probably one of their main forwards, and he'll be there at open side. He was really good last year. I thought he was really good last year as well, and so it's going to be interesting to see how he's developed physically. I thought he was a bit skinny last year, and he still actually got a lot of the work done. Hopefully, he's put on a lot of weight in the gym and put on a lot of muscle, and then because to go along with his speed and fitness that he already had, and he was really good technically as well. So if he was able to do that over the off season and get a bit bigger, maybe a bit stronger in the gym, it'll be pretty interesting to see what happens, because we have a lot of loose forwards, but if he got that up, he'll probably be up there with the best. They have Sam Jones is another prospect at number 8, and Joey Williams. Um, they seem to be talking about these two guys. I don't know too much about them two, but that's just who they've been talking about and the word that I've got from down there. James Ascott is probably going to be in halfback. I really like him and Tavita Asi. And Tavita can actually play anywhere. Like I actually thought maybe he would have went into second five, maybe along with Midge Van Boxtel, and probably put him and Midge in the midfield. Have Lane go to fullback and put Burns back into first five, but Burns seems to like it at fullback, and with Burns's ability to control a backline and to direct the team, maybe it is a better just idea for him to go there. Lane will probably go into the centres with Midge at second five and Tavita at first five. A young kid, Max Brown, has come in there. They think that he's looking pretty good, and I think so too. I think Max is going to have a pretty big future, and he's probably going to be one of those guys that that we see really dominate the first 15 scene next year and the year after. So look out for Max Brown. Lane at centre sort of makes sense. I mean, I probably wouldn't put him there, but it does make sense for the roster that they have and the needs of the team as well. And so we'll have a look for that. I don't know too much about the Colts division down there. So for me, I would be looking at all their inter schools, and to me, it's not about the scores. The only one that worries me with the scores is going to be with Southland Boys. That's the only one that I'll probably compare scores and think like and be able to match up the scores. But with the inter school ones, it's more about the individual and how they perform. It's not really about the score, because I think that they'll run up the scores on a lot of those teams anyway. There's still a big division in Otago and Dunedin, in Otago area, with Otago boys and the other schools. John McGleason fed them a bit of humility last year. But I mean, there's always those 1 years that things like that can happen. And so I don't think it's going to happen this year, not at all. With the team that I know that John McGleason has coming back, I don't think that they'll do that to Otago 2 years in a row. But there is still that gap, and so when it comes to ranking Otago boys, and then the week games are over, and I mean week as in the day's week, not week as in useless teams, but when it comes time for rankings every single week, when it comes to a school team, then it's going to be done more by the performances of the players rather than what the score is going to be looking like. Because I don't think it's fair to take it by what the score looks like, because for those teams, you already know who's going to win. It's just about how much points they're going to score. So Obies is going to be is still going to be in the mix. You know, they still might represent the South as well, but if they end up coming out of Otago as the representatives for their region, they still have to deal with the Christchurch teams and the UC comp teams, and so that's going to be even harder as well. But that's my review on Obies on Otago boys. Peace.